Did you know that one day all the world's wealth, all the fame, and all the power will mean absolutely nothing? The Bible speaks of a final, terrifying, and perfect event, a day when all humanity will be truly equal. This is the story of the Great Judgment, the day when God Himself will be the judge over all the earth, a day when every secret will be revealed, every action weighed, and every soul will face the ultimate truth. It's the ultimate equalizer, and it's a promise. But are you ready for what it reveals? For thousands of years, humanity has lived in a broken world. We see the powerful and wealthy living in magnificent palaces, adorned in gold, believing they are above the reach of consequence. At the same time, the poor and the humble are forgotten, struggling for a single piece of bread in the shadows of those same palaces. We see the wicked who commit terrible acts, the corrupt leader who lies to his people, the swindler who steals the savings of the elderly. They live in comfort, seemingly getting away with their crimes, laughing at the very idea of justice, while the righteous, those who try to live in faith, often face the greatest hardships. They are persecuted for their beliefs, mocked for their compassion, and suffer in a world that does not value their goodness. In our world, justice is often flawed. It can be bought by the rich, twisted by the clever, and delayed until it is meaningless. This profound imbalance, this cosmic unfairness, cries out to heaven, and God hears it. He promised He would not be silent forever. Through His prophets, He sent warnings, words of fire, like those from Isaiah, who spoke of a coming day when the Lord alone will be exalted. Jeremiah warned of a day of reckoning, a day of divine justice. This isn't a threat from a distant tyrant. It is a promise from a loving God that evil, pain, and suffering will not have the final word. It is a promise that all the tears of the oppressed will be answered with perfect, divine justice. The world, as we know it, has an expiration date, and the end of this age begins not with a whisper, but with a sound, the sound of a trumpet, so loud and so clear it will shake the very foundations of the earth, a sound that will be heard by the living and the dead. In that moment, as the Apostle Paul wrote, "In the twinkling of an eye, the sky will be torn open." This is the second coming, not the humble carpenter from Nazareth, but the King of Kings, Jesus Christ, descending from the heavens. He will come on a cloud of glory, riding a magnificent white horse, a symbol of pure and righteous conquest. His eyes will be like flames of fire, and on His head will be many crowns. He is not coming to be judged. He is coming to judge. With Him will be an army of heaven, countless angels, magnificent and terrifying, led by the archangel Michael, ready to execute the final will of God. And then the first great act of judgment begins, the resurrection. The trumpet sound will call forth the dead. The graves of the earth and the depths of the sea will release those they have held. All who have ever lived, from Adam and Eve to the last person born, will be brought back to life, given a body, and called to stand. Those who are alive and belong to Him will be caught up in the air, transformed instantly, their mortal bodies made immortal, to meet the Lord. But for those who remain, and for the wicked dead now raised, the time for judgment is at hand. The book of Revelation describes the next, most sobering scene: the great white throne. Imagine a throne, so vast and so brilliant white it seems to be made of pure light. It floats in a void, as the old earth and sky have fled away. Seated on the throne is Jesus Christ, no longer the Lamb of sacrifice, but the Lion of Judah, the righteous judge. Before this throne, a countless sea of humanity is gathered, billions upon billions of souls. every person who has ever lived, and here, in this moment, the great equalizer is finally, truly, in effect. The books are opened. These are the records of every life, every thought, every word, every secret deed. Nothing is hidden. Every time you chose kindness, it is recorded. Every time you chose cruelty, it is also there, written for all of heaven to see. And then another book is opened. This is the most important book of all. It is the Lamb's Book of Life. This book contains the names of all those who put their faith in Jesus Christ, who accepted his sacrifice on the cross as payment for their own sins. The judgment begins. Think of the most powerful king who ever lived, a man who commanded armies, built empires, and whose word was law. He is brought before the throne. He stands stripped of his crown, his purple robes, his armies. He is just a man, small and trembling. He has no power here. His empire means nothing. He is judged not by how many he ruled, but by what was in his heart. Now, think of the wealthiest billionaire who ever lived, a person who could buy anything, go anywhere, and influence the world with their vast fortune. That person stands before the throne, their bank accounts empty, their gold worthless. They are judged not by their net worth, in dollars, but by their spiritual worth, in faith. Now, a corrupt judge who twisted the law for bribes, he now faces the one true judge, from whom no secret can be hidden and no bribe can be offered. His worldly authority is gone. Side by side with them stands a poor widow who had nothing on earth. She was invisible to the world, but she lived a life of quiet faith and prayer. She gave her last 2 mites to the temple, trusting God for everything. Her name is called, and a light of recognition flashes in her eyes. She sees the face of the one she loved, the one she trusted, even when she had nothing. This is the core of the judgment. Every person is judged according to what is written in the books. Their deeds are laid bare, but for those whose names are written in the book of life, their deeds are not what save them. The book of their sins is open, but across every page, one word is written: forgiven, paid for by the blood of Christ on the cross. For them, the judge, Jesus, looks at them not as a criminal, but as a brother, as a sister, as a child. He says, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." But for those whose names are not found in the book of life, the judgment is based on their deeds alone. And measured against the perfect holiness of God, no one can stand. Their deeds, however good they seemed on earth, are not enough to bridge the gap of sin. This is the most tragic moment in all of creation. Jesus, the one who died for them, who offered them free salvation, must now be their just judge. With a sadness that fills eternity, he must sentence them to what they chose: a life and an eternity separated from God. This is not a punishment from God as much as it is a separation from God. It is the natural consequence of rejecting the source of all life, all love, and all goodness. But for the righteous, their journey is just beginning. The old earth, stained by sin, is consumed, and God creates a new heaven and a new earth, a place of such beauty and perfection it is beyond human imagination, a world with no more tears, no more pain, no more death. The righteous, in their new, glorious bodies, enter this new creation. They will walk into a magnificent city, the New Jerusalem, which descends from heaven, shining with the glory of God. And in this new world, they will not just be subjects. They will reign with Christ. The humble widow will be given authority over cities. The persecuted believer will be honored before all the angels. The ones who were last on earth will be first in heaven. This is God's perfect, final justice. It is the great reversal. In the end, God's judgment makes everyone equal, not by destroying them, but by revealing their true selves. It strips away all the labels we create: rich, poor, king, servant, famous, unknown, and leaves only one thing that matters: the state of our soul. It reveals that the only status that ever mattered was forgiven. The final judgment is not something to be feared by those who trust in Him, but something to be hoped for. It is the day the story is finally set right, the day the hero wins, the villain loses, and the faithful are finally and eternally home.